But when you fool your heart to try to sleep, your mind plays tricks on you.
Hi guys, I hope you're well. Now this month I thought we'd do something that may come in very handy to you guys. Who knows? Fingers crossed you'll be able to use it anyway. And it's writing guide charts, okay? Or cheat sheets or whatever you want to call it. So basically a guide chart is something that I use a lot. I've used them a lot for live performances. I've used them a lot for recording. And let me give you a demonstration of what a guide chart or one of my guide charts looks like. Okay, so if I hold this to the screen, I don't know if you can see it, we've got the title on there and various numbers and a few little scribbles, etc. I'll put a PDF up on the screen so you can see these in more detail. But I've built up a collection of many of these. You know, I use these for recording, like I said, or live gigs. So what is a guide chart? Okay, it's something that I can write relatively quickly. Okay, so rather than writing the entire drum part out of all the crashes and the hi-hats and the bass drum and all the toms, all that information, it's less detailed. It outlines the form of the song and the basic style, and it will give me an idea of the tempo, etc. So, there's many times when I've been on a live gig, we've finished the first half and the band leader has suddenly says, okay, let's try this song tonight, something different. And we'll be in a situation where all the rest of the guys in the band know it. I'll be there as a dep or stepping in for someone else, and I won't have heard this chart. So I'll get on YouTube, ask them if it's this arrangement they're doing, and quickly scribble something out. Okay, and now I'll put something on the screen so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. But the track we're going to use for an example today is called Is That Okay? And I think this is off one of the Vic Firth websites in the educational section. And what I'll do, we'll break it down and I'll play a recording I did of this about a month ago, probably, and we'll go through the information so you can get an idea of what's what. Okay, so I'll play the tune and we're going to start from 4 bars in. Basically there's a 4-bar intro into this section and then it goes into the verse or the first part. It's in 8-bar phrases predominantly. Now, all you need to know when you're having a go at this for yourself, it's really useful for recording as well, like I said. So when you go to the page in the drum club, which is the backing track page, okay, and you've downloaded your backing track from whatever website, whatever link you've clicked on, so you've got that, and then you need to maybe come up with your own drum part. Now this is a great opportunity to use what I'm talking about here and have a go at doing your own guide chart, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. Okay, but it will serve you well. This piece is in 4/4, which means there are 4 beats in a bar. First number, 4 beats in a bar. The second number tells us what type of beats and the time signature, and that's 4. So if you think of the American terminology, quarter notes, we have 4 quarter notes in a bar. If you're thinking in the English way of doing things, it's going to be 4 crotches in a bar. Okay, so it's just a basic 4/4, basic 4/4 groove, yeah, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And provided we can count up to 4, that's all we need. So we're going to count along to the music as we play it, and this is going to give us an idea of the form. Yeah, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. So every time I get to the next bar, the first number is going to go up by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4. So the reason we go up on the first number is to let us know how many bars we've counted. So if we're going 7, 2, 3, 4, we know we're coming up to the 8th bar, 2, 3, 4, and that's the end of the 8th bar. Right, so we can use this information to write it down. So as soon as we hear something change in the music, we can write this down and it will help us. Let's have a listen to the track. So we're coming in after a 4-bar intro, and this is the first verse. Okay, and I'll count along just to help you out.
When you were leaving, it occurred to me that you were teasing when you said those things. But when you move your heart to try to sleep, your mind plays tricks on you. Late in the evening.
Right, okay. So we've got to an 8-bar phrase there. We did 7 bars, and then there was 1, 2, 3, 4. So there was a stab on the second beat in the 8th bar. So all I'm going to do for this on the cheat sheet, I'll show you the cheat sheet up on the screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. I'll probably do 7 bars just as a means of playing groove all the way through it, yeah? And then I'll write out that last bar with a crotchet, rest, and a crotchet just to show the stab on the second beat. And then we're into the next section, yeah? Now, you might want to put some little indicators here just for geography, just to help you out. So what I've put down there is I've put voice. So I know that there's a voice singing, so that indicates that it's going to be that section. And to give a bit more detail, I've put male voice, because it's the guy that's singing on the tune. So blah, blah, blah. Right, now we're at the second part now, and we're moving on. So let's have a listen to this. I would just go back a tiny bit. Okay, so we've got the lead in, so. So this is the second part, and we can hear that there's a female voice in there as well, yeah? So we might want to put that down as a bit of an indicator. Okay. 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8. Right, and then something changes then. So again, we've got another 8-bar phrase, and we've got a little bit of a fill on the 8th bar. So if we look at the music there, I've written the little stab that we've got here. So it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. So I've written another 7 bars of groove. I'm not writing any of the hi-hat parts, you know. What I have done is, if you'll notice, I put SN, which is short for snare drum, just to let me know that rather than playing cross stick in the first 8 bars to add a texture thing and make it nice and light, we're going into more of a dominant groove where we've got the backbeat on the snare just to give us a bit more prominence and lift the whole dynamic level a bit, yeah, a bit more intensity there. And I've written the stab 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 in the 8th bar. Now, and then we're going into the chorus. So let me move it back and we'll go into the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I do what I want to do. Okay, just remember those lyrics. 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4. Right. So we've got another 8-bar phrase. So this is working out quite nicely. It's quite a relatively simple tune as far as form goes. Nice 8-bar phrases, nothing Frank Zappa-ish or 15.5 with a 3 8-bar in the middle and 15/16 or whatever, you know, all that stuff. So it's pretty simple. Okay, and this is a chorus. I do what I want to do, he says in the vocals. So what I do, I like what I did there. What I do when I'm doing guide charts, I like to add a bit of detail. Okay, and if I write, I do what I want to do, just as a little kind of cue over the top vocal cue. I know that when I hear the singer sing that, I know we're definitely the chorus. There's no doubt about that. So it's a good reference point for me there. So don't be wondering whether you should put a little vocal cues in there. I do this for all sorts of stuff. I do this for opera. You know, if I'm doing opera gigs, working with opera companies. And yeah, my colleagues laugh at me because the amount of detail I put in there. Some people don't like any detail, they just like the blank canvas. For me, I like some references. Oboe plays a solo here, violins play rhythmic ostinato, whatever. I just like to write in these little references. So if I do get distracted, get lost, don't know where I am, oh yeah, oboe solo. There we go, back in a D. That helps me out, and that will help you out, I'm sure. So we've got the chorus section in here, big, and you can see I put HH and open, which means hi-hat and open hi-hat, just to give it a dirtier, heavier feel. So rather than things being nice and clean like they were at the beginning, nice clean sound there. Just like New York around here, isn't it, with the sirens flaring. Okay, we've got open hi-hat as well. Just gives it, like I said, a heavier, dirtier, you know. And again, we've got a stab on the 8th bar there, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you can see I've done a little rough there, triplet figure leading into the last crotchet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, I hope that makes sense so far. Again, it's all about using your ears, and when you hear something change in the music, stop the audio track and maybe just make a mark of the timing. So at the moment we're 1 minute and 12 seconds into the track, okay, and just put that over the top at the end of the chorus. So if you need to learn the chart and you're going back to it, you've got a little timing there. So rather than listening to the whole thing from the top to top, you can just jump in there and you know that's going to be the end of the first chorus. Okay, these things will help, I'm sure. Right, let's move it back a bit because we've got some interesting rhythmic phrases that come up next. 1 and 2 and 3. Right, okay. So we've got a nice bar of hi-hat, 1 and 2. What happens here is there's kind of like a 2-bar bridge section, or whatever you want to call it, just to add a bit more intensity and just add a dynamic contrast in the song. So it's like almost like a bit of a breakdown thing. So very light, just with the rhythmic guitar. So again, you don't want anything heavy. That's why I've decided to just go to hi-hat and just keep it nice and light. And then go. Again, similar rhythmic figure to what we played last time, just to keep a bit of consistency there. And it just adds a bit of a flourish before we go back into another verse. Okay, so let's have a listen to that again. Hi-hat, another fill. Verse 1. We're on the snare again. 3, 2, 3, 5, 6. You might want to put vocals and male vocal again. Okay, so again, got a very similar rhythmic figure. This seems to come back. It's happened a couple of times now. So it's the same rhythmic figure we had in the 16th bar at the start of the piece. So it's good to recognise these things and recognise a bit of repetition in the song, yeah? So I've written that, again, 7 bars, groove, just keep it nice and simple. I've marked the snare, because we're back on the snare for the backbeat, and I've just put that rhythmic figure there, as you can see on the PDF here. Right, so we're going on.
This morning, it was disturbing me.
And we've got female voice and male voice here, so that's why I put F stroke M box. And I put hi-hat as well, because you don't want it to build too quickly. Okay, chorus again. I do what I want to do. So we know we're in the chorus section. Again, open the hi-hat, just add a bit of consistency. 6. And check out this, a similar rhythmic phrase. Now this is a breakdown section, yeah? 3. So keeping it nice and light, and I've gone back to cross stick. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got an 8-bar phrase. I chose to do a bit of a fill there at the end of the 8-bar phrase. Open the hi-hat and then close it sharply, just add a bit of suspense, because what they did there was they tagged on another bar to turn it into a 9-bar phrase. But everything else dropped out, and the singer just went, I do what I wanna do, almost like a bit of a statement, just vocals. So I chose not to play over the top of that because it would diminish the dramatic impact of everything crescendoing, and then suddenly, I do what I wanna do. But what I did do is a pick up until the 4th beat, I do what I wanna do. And then we're in there, the explosion and big dominance were on the ride to lift it another level, yeah? So this way we're giving it shape, we're keeping out of the way of the vocals, letting them do their thing. We don't want to play over the top of the vocals. We are not the main voice here. The vocalist is, he's telling the story, she's telling the story. The words, let them come through. We are a supporting role as a drummer, so get out of the way when you need to. Less is more, definitely. And then we're in for a guitar solo. So here we go. Let's move it back a bit and we'll go into the guitar solo. Do what I wanna do. 1, 2, 2, so keep counting. So the guitar's wailing, so definitely want to be on the snare drum here. Okay, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7. 8, 2, 3. So I'm outlining the form there by just doing a basic fill. 3, 4, and I've put box there just to let us know that we've got vocals in there. 7, 8, round again, so that's another 8-bar phrase, so we're at 8 down there. 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7. Right, we'll round again. 2. Okay, so far we've had 3 8-bar phrases, and this is the 4th 8-bar phrase. I think, I'm not entirely sure. Sounds like something's building here the guitar. 8, 2, 3. Okay, so I've got an 8-bar phrase, and we're finishing on the 1. So I did a bit of a triplet fill there. 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, and finishing on the 1. So you can see I've just written 8 bars there, and then a crotchet with staccato just to say short. Don't want cymbals ringing on or anything like that. Just a nice short sound, just to punctuate the guitar. Bah! And then there's a delay pedal or something like that on the guitar that just lets it ring off and fade into the distance. So there we go, that's the whole chart. Just experiment with this. When you go into the play along section and you download the charts, sometimes you'll get a PDF that comes with the song, sometimes you won't. Sometimes the PDF, the music that you get is incredibly detailed, and you don't want that much detail. You want to put your own personality on the music, so therefore a guide chart is a really good idea, just to keep it simple, and then when you come to do your fills, you're not going to be inhibited by all these complicated rhythms that they've written out that aren't what you would do anyway, so so guide charts are a great way of just outlining the form, keeping it nice and simple. and try this. So download some of the tunes, okay, and start off simple, nothing too complicated, but try and do your own guide chart. Guide charts is the lesson for this week. I hope that's been useful for you guys. I've also done a PDF template of this guide chart layout for you guys. So just click the link below and you will have this free PDF template. Like always, I hope you're all safe and well and everything's okay. And you get a bit of use from this. Okay, so bye for now, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Things, but when you fool your heart to try to sleep, your mind plays tricks on you.